What's going on, guys? It's Uzziah. Welcome to the Uzziah Show, where being young, black, and successful is celebrated. I am your host, Uzziah, your success strategist. And if you have a question about business, your career, or your finances, then this is the show for you. So thank y'all so much for joining. I'm really excited for tonight's show. And if you're just coming in, leave me a comment with your name and the city that you're from, so that way I can give you a big shout out. Now, for those of y'all that are new to this show, in 2013, I paid off over $95,000 in student loans 2 years after graduating from Baylor University. And since that time, I've become a best-selling author, an entrepreneur, and a real estate investor. And my job is to help you to get to the next level. That's the reason why I set up this show. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about how to build wealth. This is a very important topic. So I'm going to open up the lines as always to be able to get y'all's comments and to get some Q&A. On every episode, I always talk about celebrating your wins and making sure that if you have a business, I can feature it on this channel for free. So, before we get into today's episode, let's first get into some house rules. Rule number one is no bad energy. Okay. We don't have to always agree on everything, but let's keep it respectful and let's keep it positive. Y'all know there's a lot of haters out there, but this is a positive space where we focus on positivity in building our community. Okay. This show is about having positive Black male media. So let's focus on that. And the second thing that I want us to think about is if we're going to make this show a real show, let's keep the engagement flowing, y'all. I want to know which one of y'all is out there tuning in. I want to know what y'all think on this subject. Send me your comments as I'm tapping in with you, and make sure to please keep the likes up. All right. Let's keep the likes up, keep the likes up, keep the likes up. It needs to be at 50% or higher. Okay. This will tell YouTube that you want to see the show around, that you want to see the show on air. Okay. Please make sure that you subscribe. And once we hit 10,000 subscribers, then that's when this will be on the YouTube channel for sale. Once we hit 10,000 subs, that's when we'll have this featured directly under this show. Okay. So keep the engagement flowing, y'all. And if you have a career related question that you want me to answer during the show, then please put your question in the super chat. If you want me to sponsor, okay, your business, I'm going to show you how to be able to do that in just a second. But if you have a question that's related to your business, your career, or your finances, then please put your question in the super chat so that way I can stop the show and help you. Okay. If you like where the show is going and you want to be a show sponsor, then by all means, please leave a super chat. The way that you do that is you just hit the icon, the dollar icon that's directly below the video chat, and that will allow you to send forth a donation. As y'all know, the donations are critical to keeping the show on air. Now, if you have a business that you want to see promoted on this channel, send me an email. Send it to Uzziah at blackmenscareer.com and give me the website. Give me the details about your business, what it is that you do, how people can get in contact with you. And as soon as you do that, that is when I will feature your business on the next show for free. Just got to make sure it's a good fit. So on today's topic, y'all, we're going to get into how to build wealth. Okay. We're going to talk about how you can grow generational wealth to pass down as part of your legacy. And this really follows up on the talk that we had yesterday about how to invest in Black-owned businesses. In that episode, I talked a little bit about what types of businesses create generational wealth. I want to be able to go deeper into that in today's episode. So this is all about how to build wealth. The first thing that you need to know about building wealth is that you have to tap into your gifts. There's so many people out there that think that, building wealth is just this magical thing, that it just happens by winning the lotto or it just happens by some random draw. Most people who have built real wealth did it by tapping into their gifts and monetizing on their skills. So you have to understand that building wealth requires you to go internal. The wealth is already inside of you. All you need to do is bring it out to the world. You have to understand what are your strengths and how can you monetize on it. Y'all know I always bring the scriptures into everything that we do to be able to bring the godly aspect into our worldly affairs. This is the book of Luke, chapter 17 and verse 21. It says, "Neither shall they say, Lo here, or Lo there, for behold, the kingdom of God is within you." Meaning, we are so busy focusing on, the next big thing that we never realize that the strength is within ourselves. We get so caught up in all these different fads, whether it's crypto, uh, um, whether it's real estate, that we never take the time for us to just look within. What are your gifts? What are your strengths? What skills do you possess that can help you get to the next level? That is not something you find on the outside. That is something that you must tap into from within. Now, I'll talk about how this kind of applies to me just to give you an idea of how to make this work for you. One of the things that I've always been told by people is that, you really know how to be able to speak to people. You know how to make convicting statements. You know how to really be an orator. And so I've built a business based around me speaking to large audiences. When I was working in corporate America, I wasn't able to tap into my gifts fully because I was working behind a computer screen. I was behind a computer cubicle all day, not able to exercise my real wealth. You got to be able to figure out what strengths that you have inside and how to turn those strengths into money. Now, this is where a lot of people go wrong when it comes to trying to build wealth. A lot of people go wrong by doing the things that they want to do or what they want to be good at, rather than doing the things that other people tell you that they value from you. You cannot go out into this world and just do whatever you want to do. If you're trying to build wealth, there is a market that is going to pay you for your services that are in high demand. The only way that it's in high demand is if it is something that you do on a level of excellence that other people want and desire. That's why they're willing to pay for it. So some of you guys, you may enjoy cleaning, but that doesn't mean that you have a strength in cleaning that's so strong that other people will pay you for that on a consistent basis. It doesn't mean that you can build an entire franchise behind it. So one of the first things that I strongly recommend for all of you guys to do is to start to interview the top 5 people that you spend most of your time with. Talk to the people who know you the most and just ask those people, hey, what are my strengths? What is it that I'm good at? Start to get answers from them on what they believe your true strengths are, and then start building an income stream around what the majority of people say. So if 5 out of 5 people tell you, hey, you're really good at cooking, you're really good at giving people advice in relationships, they're giving you the answer of what is your strength. A lot of times we get so caught up in our own minds and what we want to think is our strength that we don't take the time to validate it with the market. As y'all can see, there's a lot of talk going on YouTube right now about how people, will have these delusions of what level they're on, how good they are at something, but there's nobody outside of them that's saying the same thing. Now is the time to get confirmations. What is it that strangers tell you that you're good at doing? What is it that even your haters tell you that you're good at? Even for people that don't like me, they'll always say, oh, well, because he can speak so well. Even they will acknowledge that God has given me a gift of speaking. So if the people that are closest to me are telling it, strangers are telling it, and even enemies are saying it, then that obviously means that there's something there that I have to focus on. Let me take a quick second to give a couple quick shout outs. Shout out to my brother Chevis. Peace to you, black man, tuning in from Houston, Texas, the mighty, mighty H Town. Shout out to the sister Ariel from Austin, Texas, holding a brother down as always, from day one. Shout out to Roy the Chef. Peace, God. Peace, 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 peace. I'm still trying to find my rhythm on this episode, man. I was a little frazzled getting started today, man. I live a life outside of this, and so, certain things start to frazzle me, but, we're getting back in gear. We're getting back in motion, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure that y'all like. Make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that y'all sending forth the super chat. Shout out to the sister Tiana Johnson, who is on, as always, a fellow black business owner. The question on the table is, how do you build wealth? You build wealth first and foremost by tapping into your gifts. You got to take your natural strengths and monetize on it. Because if you're just trying to follow after any random trend, you're not going to be focused on it long enough to turn into wealth. If you wanted to come on this show because you wanted to hear, well, just tell me about the next in thing, I could give you a list of 10 different in things. But if you have no interest in it and you're not passionate about working towards it, then chances are you're not going to stay on the topic long enough in order to become a success. This is not an overnight thing when we talk about building wealth. It takes time, effort, sacrifice, blood, sweat, and tears. So the best way to put yourself out in the marketplace is to do the things that you are good at doing. And the good example that I want to give you all of this is American Idol. I was talking with Ariel a little bit earlier today about how you can't get points for things that you want to do in your life, but rather you get points when the world at large tells you this is your thing. So if I get on American Idol and I say, hey, I'm the world's best singer, when I grab a microphone and I start singing, if I'm not at the level of top performers, I'm going to get laughed out the room. My mama might have told me I'm a good singer, but my mama is not Simon Cowell. When I take my black behind on that stage and I'm opening myself up to a larger audience, the only thing that they care about is, are you one of the top performers in the industry? Do you possess a skill that puts you in the top 10% of people in the world at what you do? That is what drives all success. You cannot be in the mid 50% at your skill that you're going after and think that you're going to make a lot of money. When you look at all of these guys that are making a killing, is because they've positioned themselves to be at the top of their craft. Likewise, you got to do the same. Take your natural strengths, monetize on it. It'll make everything that much easier in the process. Now, I also want to throw this out here as well. It's not just about you tapping into your value. It's about taking your value and producing it at scale. So I'll give an example. When I was working in corporate America as an IT project manager, I was working at a fixed salary. In that position, I wasn't making full use of my gifts, and I was not able to control my own income. But now, when I'm running my own business, I can take full use of all of my gifts and I can turn it into a product that I can sell at unlimited units. This is an example of me taking my natural strengths and putting it out into the world where I can achieve unlimited potential. So, if I know how to talk about building wealth, I can turn that into a book. And there is no fixed salary that dictates how much money I'm going to make. I can either sell one book or I could sell 1,000 books. I'm putting myself in position where my value has unlimited potential. I'm able to take my gift and produce it at scale. If I'm doing a book, if I'm doing a course, if I'm doing a video, there is no limit on how many people can consume that content. So it's not enough to just be valuable. It's about taking the value that you have and positioning yourself in the marketplace so that your gift can shine for the world to see. Let me start checking the comments. Do y'all really understand what I'm saying right now? Do you really understand what I am trying to convey? The brother Yasha Allah understands what I'm talking about. That's why he brought forth a $20 super chat. My brother from another mother, thank you so much, sir. Really appreciate the support as always. Okay, shout out to Maddox. Said hello, team. We see you. You're in the house. Do y'all really understand about what I just said about producing your value at scale? Let me give you another quick example. You may be a really good cook. You may be able to make the best fried chicken in the world. But if you're only making fried chicken to, your son or your daughter, then the only person that could possibly support you is that one son or that one daughter, rather than you having the value but using it in such a minimized way. Better for you to establish a fried chicken business where you can teach other people how to make the chicken according to your recipe, and then you can sell that chicken at scale. Okay, now people is joining. Now I must be getting in my bag. I'm talking about you taking your gift and using it at scale. And the reason why a lot of y'all don't get to wealth even when you are operating according to your gifts is because you have not learned how to take your skill set and make it scalable. Those are the two key components to building wealth. When you talk about tapping into your gifts, it's not enough that you take one of your top gifts, not just any gifts. What is something that you can do that'll put you in the top 10% of people in the world at what it is that you do? And then it takes a lot of ingenuity for you to figure out how to be able to take that gift and then open the floodgates so that way everyone can benefit from it and not just a few people. Thank y'all so much for joining. Make sure that y'all smash that like button as you're just coming in. Make sure that you smash that like button. Make sure that you tell other friends that I'm giving out the free game. I'm giving out the gems. I'm giving out the nuggets. Tap into this show because this is very important. If you have any questions about what I'm asking specifically as it pertains to your gifts, then make sure that you leave me a super chat and put your question in the super chat so that way I can help you out directly during the show. Okay. So now, the second thing that you have to do in order to build wealth is understand the math behind your wealth equation. One of my mentors told me about 10 years ago, it's not magic, it's math. A lot of times we think that, people are just born with this God-given ability to just go out and make money. And because we don't have the money right in front of us, then that must mean that success isn't for us. You have to understand that wealth creation is not mythical, it is simply math at work. It's a numbers game. So I'm going to give y'all a basic example. Let's say that I have a video, 100 people watch it. Of that 100 people, there may only be 1% of people amongst that 100 that actually end up becoming a customer. You have to be able to know what the numbers look like so that way you can properly strategize around making money. So if I know, okay, hey, behind every video I do, there's a 5% sales conversion. In order for me to make a certain amount of money, I have to have a certain amount of viewers. A lot of times we only think about the end dollar, but we never think about what were all of the other numbers that factored into the endpoint before we got there. For any of y'all that are trying to build a business online, one of the most important questions that you need to ask yourself is, how many people are coming to your website or your landing page? Because if you say, okay, I want to be able to make $100 a day, and you're selling a $10 product, how many viewers need to come to your site in order to have 10 customers? You cannot expect 10 viewers to turn into 10 customers. If you have 10 customers, it may take 100 viewers. It may take 150. It may take 50. Who knows? The point is, you have to understand the math. A lot of us is still in la la land, and we think that building wealth is hocus pocus, but you got to understand the math behind things. A lot of us still get caught up in fantasies about how wealth is created because we dream about investing in this magic stock or this magic investment that just by putting in $5 somehow is going to turn into $5 million tomorrow. That's not the way that it works. I know that y'all hear these stories about things like Bitcoin and, oh man, for the price of a slice of pizza, you could have been a multimillionaire. That is so abnormal to the real wealth, to the real way that people create wealth. That's not the norm of how the game is played. When you look at most of the world's wealthiest people, they got wealthy through investing, not by putting in little money and it turning into big money. They got wealthy by putting in big money and it turned into even bigger money. That's the way that it works. Why? Because it's all about math. When I do this crypto investing and I'm watching certain investments have a 10% return in a day, I'm asking myself, okay, well, 10% return on what amount of money that I have invested? If I have $1 in a cryptocurrency, a 10% return on that is going to look a lot different than somebody else that has $100,000 in that same crypto investment. This is what y'all got to understand. Okay, when y'all look at the elites from other communities, typically, whenever they're investing their money in the stock market, they're investing 1,000 shares into a stock. A lot of us only buy one share of a stock and hope that that gets us millions. When you look at Warren Buffett, who's known as the world's greatest investor, every time he invests into millions of shares at a time. Not one share, not two shares. It's a big game. So we got to understand how the game is really played if we want to tap into it as a community. We got to get out of this pipe dream that all it takes is just 5 cents. and then you'll just become this overnight millionaire. It doesn't work like that in reality. That is not a practical formula for the average person to build wealth. The things that I'm showing you are things that anybody can plug into their system. These are principles that anybody can take and run with. Now, there are stories of people that took little bits of money here and there, and through compound interest, it turned into a large fortune over time. But that's an anomaly. That is not practical for most people's behavior. I'm trying to show you what is practical for the average person to do. And if you're going to reach a certain dollar amount, you have to understand the math. You have to understand the numbers in your business. You have to understand the numbers when it comes to investing. You have to understand how math ties into everything. Let me look at comments real quick just to see where y'all are at. Okay. Tiana Johnson says multiple streams of income. I'm going to real estate school this winter. That's amazing. Keep it up, sister. I'm going to talk about that part as well. Okay. There's a lot of us that tune in and we want to know, how can I get to wealth from where I am today? I bring the discussion back into math because where you are today may not necessarily be the best fit for where you want to be at tomorrow. I'm going to give an example. Let's say that there's a brother that's watching this video who lives in the hood and he works at McDonald's and he wants to understand how to build wealth. Well, if you're working at McDonald's and you're watching a video on how to build wealth, don't say to yourself, oh man, well, if it's just purely math, if I work for 24 hours a day at McDonald's, that's how I can get to the money. Do not think that. Oftentimes, we project from where we are right now and just say, if I just work harder, if I just invest more hours into what I'm doing, then that is going to bring wealth to my family. You can't go big from little numbers. If you're working at McDonald's, the best thing for you to do is to make an investment in your skill set so that way you can receive higher wages. You need to be getting higher earnings because you need a certain income amount that can help you flip that into something bigger. It's hard for you to build wealth from minimum wage. Do y'all understand that? Be clear. Let's be clear. I'm not saying that if you work at McDonald's and you're watching this video, there's no chance for you, because you can always take money from wherever you are and make the most of it. You can always start from the bottom and work your way up. But what I'm saying is, a lot of times when I was younger, I would always think about little, dead end jobs that I could work at, that if I just, worked overtime, if I just, put in the extra hours and I just took on everybody else's shift, that was going to make me wealthy at the end of the day. But I wasn't focusing on lifestyle design along with the practicality of getting to big numbers from low wage. I can't work 24 hours a day. Even if I could, I wouldn't want to. I could not successfully work myself into the ground from sunup to sundown to get to the wealth. And see, this is the reason, the type of talk that I'm talking right now, this is the type of talk that most of us don't understand when it comes to why some of the wealthiest people in the world are not outworking some of the people who are on the poverty line. We all have family members or friends, or we know stories about people who are working 2 jobs, 3 jobs, breaking their back, and they were living paycheck to paycheck, struggling to get through the day. And then we also know about these tycoons chilling on the beach, making passive income, but it doesn't seem like they did much to get it. It's because of the structure that you're using to build wealth. This is the reason why math is important. A lot of us are not on a path that is engineered mathematically for a wealth equation. Listen to what I'm saying and take notes. I don't care how hard you work at your 9 to 5 job. If you are on a fixed salary, there's only so much more money that you can make. You cannot go into your boss's office and demand a 500% raise. They're going to laugh you out the room. But you could be your own boss and demand of yourself a level of production that gives you 500% more results. You have to follow after a formula that can give you unlimited earning potential. I just talked about that when I was talking about the book. You see, I could get on a consultation with somebody and I could charge somebody by the hour, or I could put the exact same lessons that I'm going to tell this person anyway into an audio program. And I could not only sell it to that person, but every other person that is going to ask me the exact same question. And that will make me a lot more money than just doing a one-on-one consultation. I'm giving y'all the game for you to follow. Take your value and then use a proper formula that will allow you to take your value and produce it at scale. Make sure that the math works in your favor. If you're trying to build wealth, the 2 primary ways to get there is by you either impacting millions of people or you impacting a few people at $1 million level. So what do I mean when I say this? When you look at a company like McDonald's, you see on their signs billions of people served. That's how they became a multi-billion-dollar company. They would take low-cost products and sell it to billions of people. All them Happy Meals, Value Meals, Big Macs, Quarter Pounders, they would take low-cost items and sell it to people in droves. But likewise, you may have a company like Apple. They don't sell the cheapest items, but for the items that they do sell, it comes with maximum quality, and they're able to sell to fewer people at a higher impact. Think about Ferrari. Think about Lamborghini. Think about Birkin, Louis Vuitton. These are not products that everybody and their mama can get. But because these products are so high end in terms of its quality, they don't need everybody in the world to buy it in order to get on. And that's one of the things that you have to think about as a business owner. What type of business are you going to run for wealth creation? Are you going to sell low-cost products at maximum volume? Or are you going to be the person that has a very high-end product that is selling successfully to a smaller amount of people? And people are willing to pay for that product because it comes with so much value. One of the big reasons why a lot of us ain't out here building wealth is because we'll have a low-cost product and we're not selling to a lot of people. Or we'll have a higher cost product that other people are not willing to pay for. So you got to find your sweet spot and you have to optimize around that. Let me pause real quick and let me look at these comments. Let's keep the super chats flowing. Y'all are getting a lot of game in this video, all for free. Let's keep this show alive by keeping the super chats flowing. For those of y'all that are tuning in now, just hit the dollar icon directly under the live chat. That will help to keep this show on because it takes money to keep this show going, y'all. Likewise, if you're watching this after the fact, the Cash App and the PayPal information is in the description below. Okay, so let me get back to the topic at hand. Are you using math that is designed for wealth creation? Most people aren't, because the system is designed for you to end up middle class. If you went to school and you graduated and worked at, a typical day-to-day job, you're already under a system that is designed for middle class lifestyle. The only way that you can escape the middle class, which is going away, by the way, it's only going to end up being you got it or you don't. The middle class, however, was designed for people that would make just enough money to be able to pay the bills, but then they would have to be dependent on the system for the rest of their lives to maintain their families. If you're going to get outside of that, you have to know this math, and you have to work according to the math, not just your talent. I've consulted people in the past. They say, Uzziah, I like to really do this. This is what I'm good at. But I say, okay, how can you make the math of this work? Just because you like doing this and people love it, if the math doesn't make sense, how is it ever going to be profitable? How are you ever going to be able to make a lot of money from it? If you work at a skill and your skill requires that you only work with one person in a day, you can't sell at a low amount because you only get one customer to work with within a day. So if only one customer can work with you and whatever it is that you do, for example, an open heart surgeon. See, you got to be able to do something where the skill is so high that you can command a high dollar out the gate if you cannot produce in volume. The third thing that I want to talk about is you have to invest in assets and not liabilities. So we talked about tapping into your value. We talked about you understanding the math. The third thing that you really need to focus on is investing in assets and not liabilities. These include things like stocks, bonds, real estate, cryptocurrency, business, most importantly, yourself. You have to be very clear about what assets are and not liabilities, so that way your dollar can go in the right place. A book that I highly recommend on this topic is Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Rob Kiyosaki. Now, when we talk about an asset is things that make you money over time. When we talk about liabilities, we're talking about things that takes money out of your pocket. These are things that depreciate over time. I like to invest in real estate because I like to invest in homes that appreciate. When I buy a property, I'm already projecting what the future amount of this property will be over time. So to give you a real example, in 2014, I bought a duplex in North Austin for $200,000. From then until now, it has almost tripled in terms of value. The housing market is crazy right now. And before, things started changing the way that it did, it was at that 3x amount. But even still right now, it's right there at that 3x threshold. So I'm projecting into the future about when I put my dollar here today, what will this be worth for me tomorrow? And even right there, if I'm buying a $200,000 property and that property is flirting with $600,000 market value, then I'm already on the road to wealth just by that one asset. And by me getting into that asset when it was much cheaper, I'm in a good position to grow along with it. But even with that, y'all, I don't just look at that one asset and say, oh, I made it now. I still got my business. I still invest in stocks, index funds, cryptocurrencies, bonds. You have to be able to diversify your assets, because what happens when any one market goes under in time? These are all things that you need to know. Yasha Allah says, don't buy $200 sneakers on peanut income. Absolutely. A lot of y'all really shouldn't be buying certain things, period, unless you're at certain dollar thresholds. A lot of y'all should not be buying new cars unless you're a millionaire. Ain't nothing wrong with buying a used car, especially without, Carvana and Carfax and all these things that are out here. You don't have to get a lemon whenever you think about buying a used car. All of the cars that I've ever bought have been used, and they run just as effectively as a brand new car. I want to say it was over 10 years ago where I bought a Toyota Highlander. I drove that car for 300,000 miles without a problem. And I traded it in for the Benz that you see in the thumbnail, not because the car wasn't running anymore, but just because I wanted to level up. And I was able to take the difference from that money that I had buying it used instead of new, putting it towards investing, putting it towards business, putting it towards learning new skills. So that way, when it comes time to get the car that I really want, I can bring more money to the table. Just trying to give y'all the game on how it's going. Some of y'all, you may want to drive a Benz, but you shoot yourself in the foot taking out a $30,000 car loan for a Honda Accord. You're never going to get to the Benz from the Accord because you're going to be spending the next 15, 20 years paying on the Accord. You got to be able to say, yo, I'm going to grind it out right now. Right now, I'm getting it from the mud. And I'm just going to take whatever it is that I can afford, whatever it is that I can save. And I'm going to take that money, buy this right now. That's just my starter vehicle. The reason why a lot of us don't have wealth is because we want to stunt from day one. A lot of y'all want to be 20 years old and stunt. But it don't work like that. Wealth creation happens over time. Look at what Tiana says. She says, I have 2 used cars, Honda and Chevy. They run like brand new, very well taken care of. Absolutely. See, these cars are liabilities that takes away from the assets. A lot of y'all right now, when you put together the amount of money that you spend on your car note, your insurance, gas, maintenance, everything that goes into it, a lot of y'all are already spending over $500 a month. So what would be the type of wealth that you would have if you were able to take that exact same $500 that you're throwing towards a car note and that insurance and putting it towards investing in the stock market? This is not rocket science. It just takes a little discipline. It takes a little forward thinking into your future. And that's not to say that you can't have some nice things right now. But one of the things that always sticks out to me is, would you rather live like a king for a year or live like a prince for a lifetime? Would you rather indulge yourself in a couple nice luxuries for the moment that doesn't break you? Or are you just going to shop until you drop, and then you're going to regret the dumb decisions that you made 5, 10, 15 years down the line? I'm just giving y'all the game. And if you like this game that's being given out, make sure that you smash that like button and make sure that you put forth a super chat. This keeps the show going. Right now, the only brother that put forth a super chat is Yasha Allah on that $20. Y'all soaking up all this game. Y'all ain't giving nothing back to the culture. Support. If you want to see this show going, support. This is an opportunity for us to be able to invest in ourselves. Now, getting back to what we were talking about, you have to invest in assets and not liabilities. You got to invest in stocks. You got to invest in real estate. Cryptocurrency is a thing that's going. And when I say that you have to invest in these things, I'm just saying that if you want to build assets, these are some of the primary areas to go. A lot of y'all get so caught up in buying a house that stops you from being able to invest in assets. Buying a home is the largest purchase that most adults are ever going to make. And if you are not making money from the home, but you're putting money into the home, then more often than not, your home becomes a liability. See, the only mortgage that I have right now is the mortgage that I took out for an investment property. The only reason why I took out debt is because I have a tenant that is paying me to live here every single month. So as the tenant is paying me to live here, I take those funds and put it towards the mortgage. That's the only reason why I'm taking out debt in the first place. You got to ask yourself, why are you taking out debt? Are you taking out debt to buy new shoes, to buy new clothes? A lot of y'all is going into debt to buy a new phone. These things are not getting you closer to wealth. It's taking you away from the wealth. The only time that you should even think about taking out a debt is if it is towards something that is providing you with a financial return. For some of you, that may be business. For some of you, that may be real estate. For some of you, that may be going to college, actually getting a degree in a lucrative trade that's in high demand. If you take out debt towards those things, okay, then maybe that will help to get you somewhere further. But a lot of times, man, we be taking out debt, swiping these credit cards, and it don't have nothing to do with wealth creation. And I'm telling y'all this right now. A surefire way to make sure that you never create wealth is to be in debt. If you want to be broke, if you never want to get to a level of wealth, if you just, if you want to live check to check and you want to kind of sustain yourself, money's not that important to you, then do what you do. But if you're trying to create generational wealth, having assets that you can pass down to your kids, you have to get your way out of debt, because so many of us are spending excess amounts of money all towards some debt that we don't even like anymore. Like, $1,000 payments on student loans every month. That's what I had to pay when I got out of college. You got to pay $500 plus on a car note, $1,000 plus on a credit card. You take out all these different debts and you never have any additional cash flow to put towards stocks. It's not okay. Do y'all know something? Studies show that 70% of millionaires are financially screwed. And it's not because they're not making enough money. It's because they are so up to their neck in debt and making frivolous purchases that there is no way that you can retire at a reasonable age. There's so much data out here that's showing right now that the average millennial has to invest half of their paycheck if they want to retire at 62 years old. A lot of y'all think I'm capping. I need to pull up the receipts. Y'all give me some comments on this. I need y'all talking to me, man. Y'all real quiet over there. Are y'all quiet over there taking notes? Are y'all quiet over there soaking up this game? I see you online. Leave me a comment. Let me know where y'all really at on this topic. I'm pulling up the receipts right now because a lot of y'all think this is cap, but I'm just giving you the real talk on how to build wealth. I'm not the wealthiest man in the world, but between the real estate that I have, the stocks that I own, the debt that I got out of when I was 23 years old, I have learned things about wealth creation along the way. I know how to create multiple streams of passive income. I know when is the right time to invest. So these are all things that we really need to think about as we talk about wealth creation. Now, I'm going to show you this article real quick, just so that way I can show y'all I'm not just coming up with stuff. 70% of millennials are living paycheck to paycheck more than any other generation. So, this is a very important topic that we need to address. Okay, it says millennials have many economic challenges that make things financially difficult. I want to be able to show y'all some if I could just get it real quick. Do y'all know that we have the least amount of wealth in America out of any other generation that came before us? Like the baby boomers, when they were our age, they controlled a lot more of America's wealth than what we have right now. And I want y'all to see uh, with everything that's happened in the 2008 Great Recession, the housing crisis, the student loans, a lot of us are finding ourselves in a bad place. Look at what it says right here. It's left even six-figure earning millennials struggling to get by. The survey found that 60% of millennials raking in over $100,000 a year said they're living paycheck to paycheck. So that debunks all of the myths that, oh man, if I just get the right job, paying the right amount of money, I won't even have to worry about all of this building wealth stuff. It's automatically going to come. That debunks all of the, oh man, you know what? If I just, get this pay raise, all of my problems will go away. 60% of millennials that make over $100,000 a year are living paycheck to paycheck. And the reason is because we have never been taught nor applied the principles behind building wealth. So when I'm giving the game to you, don't underestimate it. I'm telling you right now, these are all things that you need to know to get to the next level. Look at what Yashala said right here. He said, my father uh, was a car salesman for over 40 years, and he never bought a new car until he retired 3 years ago. So what is it that the car salesman knows that you don't? Maybe it's that as soon as you take that car off the lot, it depreciates in value by 15%. The minute that you buy a new car and you get in that car and you take it out the parking lot, it has already lost a lot of value. So these are not things that appreciate. These are things that depreciate in value. And all of our money is going towards these things. If you want to build wealth, you have to focus on appreciating assets. Okay. Look at what Tiana just said. And let's celebrate her on this, y'all. She said, I brought up my score, a credit score, from 460 to 639 in less than a month and a half, keeping her credit utilization ratio under 30%. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Way to go. Great job. Credit is another major key. Now, we talked about how you have to invest in assets and not liabilities. A lot of times we fail to recognize that the best asset that you can invest in is yourself. One of the biggest challenges that we tend to encounter is that if we didn't learn it at the job or in the school system, then we never learned it. Self-education is what makes you a fortune. Jim Rohn said this decades ago. He said, formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. I told y'all this earlier in today's show. That school system that we love so much, that was designed to put us in the middle class. Now you have some people, a select few, that'll go to school, get a degree, get a good paying job, and build substantial wealth. But that is very few and far between. We have to understand the necessary elements towards wealth creation. It doesn't come by you just focusing on your degree. It comes by you educating yourself on how the world really runs. Let me tell y'all something. I graduated. Thank you so much, Aaliyah, for the $5 super chat. Thank you for investing in this show. Thank you for investing in the community. Damn, y'all is a hard crowd, man. How much game do I need to give for y'all to bring forth a super chat? Please, Lord, please. If y'all are vibing with the show, man, and y'all are getting game from it, then please come through with the super chats because it is so helpful to really getting this thing off the ground, man. Y'all just don't know. This thing takes work. It takes effort. If you want to bring forth a super chat, then please hit the dollar icon that's under the live chat window. Some of y'all like using Cash App. Cash App me at $ Black Men's Career. Please, it would be much, much appreciated, y'all. So when we talk about the assets that you have to invest in, the first asset is yourself. There's so many of us that look to all of these random things, hoping that that's where we're going to get our big break. But the most important asset to invest in is yourself. So what I'm saying is, if you don't know anything, you don't have any idea on how to make money, you have no skills, but then you hear somebody talk about real estate, that doesn't mean just jump out the window into real estate. Because if you don't know nothing about real estate, that's not going to be your come up. You can lose money in real estate just like anything else. You could lose money in real estate. You could lose money in stocks. So before you just try to jump on a fad without having any personal skills, you need to invest in yourself. And this is the reason why Tiana spoke a little bit earlier about how you need to have multiple streams of income. Okay. The average millionaire has 7 different streams of income. This brings me back to what I was about to tell y'all. I graduated from a top 100 university with a degree in IT. Do you think that in college I learned how to be able to do a live streaming show? Do you think that I was taught how to be able to set up streaming software so that way my message could get out into the world? No, it was not taught. The best things that I know about how to thrive professionally was not taught in school. It got my foot in the door to get a job, but then I needed to take the income that I made from that job to re-educate myself all over again into the real game that people is out here really playing. You see, start from where you are, but level up. That has to come through self-education. College didn't teach me about how to generate sales in business. It did not teach me those things. So when we talk about these 6 multiple streams of income, that comes through self-education. If I'm gonna be a real estate investor, I got to learn about real estate. Y'all don't understand. When I'm doing my investing in a stock market, I'm reading stock reports every day. I'm reading trading reports every day. I'm watching the industry. I'm seeing what's going up and what's going down every day. So if you're not focused on teaching yourself, because nobody wants to see you win more than you. If you're not willing to get off your behind and pick up a book and study something, don't think that wealth is coming your way. You know, one of the top things that Jim Rohn again stated, one of the pioneers of personal development, he said, when you look at a wealthy person, they have a big library. When you look at a poor person, they have a big TV. Now, obviously, this is an oversimplification, but it brings awareness to the point that we value different things at different levels. See, when you speak to people that are real wealthy, you know what they're going to tell you? They're going to tell you, you could take away all of my money. You could take away all of the cars. You could take away all of the homes. But the one thing that I can't afford to lose is my knowledge. You know, I've heard brothers talk about how better is a book than a well-built house. Why? Because the knowledge that you learn from that book could buy you 2 houses, 3 houses, 4 houses. You could be giving houses away to people. And that is really the true goal of why I preach wealth creation. It's not for you to hoard money like Scrooge McDuck. It's for you to create better opportunities for your kids. Give them a better shot at life than what you had coming up. You know, a lot of y'all got family members right now that's on life support. You don't have the means to keep their medical bills covered. You don't have it. Okay. A lot of y'all right now, and I know what I'm saying is hurting you. Some of y'all gonna hate me, but keep smashing that like button. A lot of y'all right now have somebody that is very close to your heart, that is a very hard worker, and you cannot afford to take them on one vacation. Some of y'all got moms that have worked themselves into the ground as long as you've been alive. You can't even take her to a nice restaurant because you're not doing what you're supposed to do financially. So when I'm giving you this game, don't think, oh yeah, this is just to stunt. This is just to make yourself something that you're really not. No, this is for you to be able to do better for your future, do better for your people, do better for your family. Y'all see how much it costs to have health insurance. It takes money. We're living in America, bro. You gotta have money. Even if you're not trying to stunt like a rapper, you gotta have it. If you want your kids to be able to have a good lifestyle, if you want your spouse to have a good lifestyle, it's required. Don't get me out here ranting, y'all. But I do want to thank ICAM for the $5 super sticker. Thank you, ICAM. Much appreciated. Thank you so much for the love. As you can see, Yasha Allah said, Aaliyah, you rock. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Yasha Allah also said, Cam, you rock. These are the sponsors of this show. These are the folks right here that y'all need to be thanking for getting all this free game right now. We give all praise to the Most High, and we thank God for sending sponsors to help keep this show going. If it wasn't for these sponsors, y'all, I would not be able to do the show. So now let's get back into it. How to build wealth. Number one, you have to tap into your gifts. You have to identify what will put you at the top 5% of an industry. And then you have to take that gift and package it into something that you can monetize at scale. A lot of y'all have value, but it's not packaged into something that will allow you to make money. And that's one of the most frustrating places to be at in life. When you know that you got a talent, but you haven't designed a way for other people to pay you because of it. The second thing that you have to understand is the math. If you don't understand the math behind how to build wealth, there's no way that you can get it. I used the example before. You're not going to build wealth working at McDonald's. You can take the money that you get from that McDonald's paycheck to invest in a program to build your skill set so you can get to the wealth, but you're not going to get there from a McDonald's wage. Don't think, oh, okay, if I just work 24 hours every single day, then I'm going to be in the money. If I just take everybody's shift, if I just work overtime. That's the reason why our community be working 2, 3, 4, 5 different jobs. And we still don't match the wealth of the average white American household. I'm telling y'all, listen, I think the average black family right now, I'm saying family, the average black family probably has a net worth right now somewhere around $5,000. No cap. But the average white family has a net worth of over $100,000. When we're talking about building wealth, your wealth is predicated by your net worth. Your net worth is the assets that you own. That's the reason why the third thing that we talked about was investing in assets and not liabilities. The fourth thing, all right, and I want y'all to cam up because I want y'all to talk about this. I want to get y'all's feedback. I'm going to give y'all the cam up link now. The fourth thing that you really need to be up on is you have to let time run its course. You have to understand the time component behind wealth. A lot of people are looking for instant results. You want to start something today and instantly make a killing overnight. It doesn't work that way. The average millionaire is 57 years old, which shows that for most people, it takes at least 3 to 4 decades of hard work and investing to build real wealth. Now, I want to try to think about this. The majority of Americans are not millionaires, right? Most people in the world are middle class or lower. But even for those who get to that level of wealth, it takes them 57 years before they get it. So, what makes you think that at whatever age that you are, teenager, 20s, 30s, that you're going to start working today and instantly you're going to have a super bag tomorrow? It's not going to happen. It takes time. It takes focus. It takes patience. It takes dedication. And most importantly, it takes you applying everything that I went over in today's free video. It takes you actually tapping into your strengths and learning how to monetize it. Most people never do that. Most people just, work random jobs that don't have nothing to do with their skills. You don't know how many people that's getting out of college that's taking on jobs that don't even need a college degree in the first place. Here it is, you got a degree, in science, but now you're working as a barista at Starbucks. Well, what's the point? It might take you, time to get on in your respective degree. Don't get offended by what I'm saying, y'all. But what I am saying is that there are so many of us growing up today who have had parents and other family and friends that are working at jobs that have nothing to do with their best skill set at all. So if it takes the average millionaire 57 years to get to that level, how will you even be able to follow what the average millionaire is doing, which is obviously above average? But a lot of y'all don't even want to get it at 57. A lot of y'all want it right now. The only way that you can even have a remote chance of being able to do that is by doing everything that I just talked about in today's video. Tap into your gifts, monetize it at scale, understand the math. The sooner you understand the math, the more the math can work in your favor. If you don't understand how the math behind selling your products work, it's going to be hard for you to get to the money. I told you before, if you are working at a job that has a fixed wage, it's going to be harder and longer for you to get to wealth than for somebody that has a wealth equation that gives them unlimited earning potential. We could be just as smart. We could be just as talented. We could be just as hardworking. But if I take my talent and I only buy one house and I say, hey, I'm going to build wealth by renting out this one house. Well, in terms of a rental income, I can only get one rental income at a time from that one house if I'm using a tenant and not an Airbnb. See, if you don't understand the math behind this, you could get outbeat by somebody who's not working half as hard as you, but they have a better wealth formula. I told you the difference between if you are renting out just one unit and only getting one rental check versus somebody that's just as smart and they're saying, hey, I'm going to take my knowledge on real estate, I'm going to put it into a book. If 1,000 people buy this book every month, you know what? I may find myself making $10,000 a month or more right there. If 1 million people want to know about how to get into real estate investing, I can do a real estate investing course right there. Okay, why do y'all think that there's so many people that's online today that had skills in other areas, but they're coming out with books and other courses selling their knowledge? It's not because everybody is trying to sell you with some gimmick. It's because they understand that they get more out of life and their worth by putting their skill at scale rather than doing it in some tiny hole. What's the point of you doing something on a small level if you want to be able to have big results? You got to understand the math. You got to invest in assets, not liabilities, and you have to allow time to run its course. So, y'all, if you have questions, now is the time. I see y'all on. Are y'all putting these likes up? Thank you for getting all these likes going. Thank y'all for the super chats. Make sure that you keep the super chats coming. Yasha Allah, do you have any feedback for the people on how to build wealth?
Just a little bit. Shalom. How you doing, big brother?
I'm doing well, sir. Good to see you as always.
You said a lot of things, and think about when I was younger. You know what I'm saying? You can't. My daddy always told me that you can't buy $200 sneakers off peanut money. It's impossible. If you look at the Asians never do it. They just don't. You know what I mean? But they stack that money. That's all they do. Right. And we don't understand that. You know what I mean? Or I'll go buy a rent apartment or a house, $2,200, but my check for the month is only $1,800. You see what I'm saying? You don't understand that. You can't build anything because you got to borrow now to pay what you live in.
Yes, sir.
And then and I did it years ago for a little counsel on credit. I would tell people, okay, look at your cable bill. You got $150 cable bill, and I would say, how many shows do you watch? Name me 4. But you're paying $150.
There you go.
You're not building no wealth. You give it to somebody else.
Can I say something on that real quick, sir? And if we can, you always get me going, man. Shout out to Rodney Lawrence for the $5 super chat. Our brother Rodney is one of our sponsors for this show. Thank you so much, brother. We appreciate you so much. Rodney said, I appreciate what you're doing. I'm going to continue listening on my stationary bike, The Other Wealth. Absolutely. My people, your health is your wealth. This brother got the right idea. He's doing his thing the right way because he's soaking up the game on how to level up while leveling himself up in the background. You see what I'm saying? Like while he's working out, y'all could be in the gym right now doing a workout, just having the show going on in the background. And that's what I encourage for a lot of y'all that are investing in your skills. When you do you know how many audiobooks that you can read or listen to just by listening to it in the car as you're driving on the way to work? Studies show that if you go an entire year just playing audiobooks on your daily commute, you would have amassed the same amount of education as somebody with a PhD. It's about how you spend your time. It's about how you invest your time. A lot of y'all have health goals. Hey, why not, while you're in the gym losing weight or putting on some muscle, why not listen to something that is watering your brain, something that incentivizes you to be able to build the wealth, to be able to build the business, to be able to create the passive streams of income? You don't have to be a one-trick pony. You could do it all in the same shot. Now, I want to talk about something that you just said, though, Yasha Allah. It sticks with me. You just said something real heavy. Say that last part again.
About the people buy the homes, or $18 homes, but you don't make $1,500.
Right.
Bruh, you didn't think about the light bill, the water bill, the cable bill, the internet bill, the groceries bill, to your supplies, health. You didn't think about any of those things.
I'm on it right now. So I don't mean to interrupt y'all. For those of y'all that are just joining, make sure that you like this channel. Make sure that you smash the like button so that way other people can see it. Y'all know I say this every show. We need every Black person in America watching this show. Not even if they like it, but to know that it exists and they can take the information and run with it. This is about us pouring back into the culture. Now, when we talk about what Yasha Allah just said, shout out to Tiana Johnson for the super chat, the $10 super chat. Thank you so much, sister. Really appreciate it. Y'all keep these super chats coming. Finally, y'all are awake. Finally, y'all feel like supporting black people. Did you see that earlier, Yasha Allah? I don't know if they was really trying to support the people, man. Let's support. Trying to give you all the game. If you see the dollar icon under the live chat, that's how you do a super chat. Please give a super chat. Anything that you could give, my people, will go a really long way. But here's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about how a lot of times we take these little subscriptions and ignore the big cost that is associated with it. You talked about the cable bill. We're losing wealth not by having the cable subscription. We're losing wealth in all of the time that we invest in watching cable. The average American spends 5 hours a day watching television. Do you know how much you could have accomplished in those 5 hours, King? You could have turned your life upside down. You could have changed the game for you and your family. Like, we got to start thinking time is money. Time is an investment. Even if we're not trying to monetize behind everything that we do, we still have to understand our sense of self-worth. You're okay. Whatever you paid that TV for, you're spending 10 times more in the amount of time that you're dedicating to the TV. Whatever amount of money you put on that Netflix subscription, you're losing a lot more money than $14 a month. So I like the fact that you brought this up, sir, elder brother, because, you know, when you talk about these different subscriptions, and man, one of the big things that we got to watch out for is a lot of these buy now, pay laters. That's going to be a big trap for a lot of our people, man, because you get so caught up in the hype of getting something right now that you put off the expenses until tomorrow. And every day that happens is more and more interest and more debt. A lot of y'all be taking out these new cars and you get it with these APRs that are through the window. And, you know, the sticker tag might say 30,000. Man, you end up paying $40,000, $50,000 once it all comes in the wash. What would $50,000 have looked like towards business startup capital? These are things that we got to get back to. Y'all know I'm passionate about this. I like y'all being on. Let's keep the energy flowing. Let's keep the comments going. Let's keep the likes going. Let's keep the super chats going. Yasha Allah, what you got for us, sir?
Yeah, and I always say that, you know, why would you do that? You don't buy a house on both your income. People do like, really? If one of y'all get hurt, you can't make nothing. Because that seven don't care nothing about what you, all he want to do is make a sale. That's it. That's why today I don't have a car. I have a truck note. My truck note is over what everybody got their house worth per month payments. And I get phone calls all the time. Nope, I don't want to buy a car. Nope, I don't have a house. I'm waiting till next year where I'm almost retired. Then I'm going to get that when my truck is paid for. You see what I'm saying? Not putting ourselves over. We do that. We overburden ourselves. You know what I mean? Because I'm never home, really. I'm always working 6 days a week.
Yeah.
It's just me. Why I need a house? It's just me. You know what I mean? If I need to go somewhere, I rent me a car or get on a plane and go. But we don't look at that. He never bought a car. And to this day, I won't buy a new car. Like you said earlier, once you go over that line up the car lot, 15% is gone out the window. Yeah. You done lost $8,000-$9,000 appreciation, you know. But
can I say something on that? Man, you know, you talked a lot about not spending beyond your means, and that's definitely a killer for us as a community. One of the things that really keeps us at the bottom is the fact that we are always spending our entire paycheck. One reason why we are not able to level up is because we have not enough funds in our emergency savings. Now, get me where I'm going on this, y'all. If you heard me on yesterday's show, I talked about how the average business in America, from all races only has 1 month worth of emergency savings to keep the doors open. That's the reason why millions of businesses went under with the pandemic. The average person doesn't even have 1 month in their savings account to be able to hold them over if they lose their job. The average Black American cannot go 1 month out of work and sustain their family. The average Black American cannot go over 1 month out of work without sustaining their family. The big problem is we're not getting to the wealth because we're not in position to have the emergency savings. Now, you got to examine, okay, well, why are you not in a position to have emergency savings? Is it because you are working at a job where the income is not high enough for you to have disposable income after your bills? Are you not in a position to be able to have 3 to 6 months worth of emergency savings because you just ain't got no damn discipline? I mean, let's keep it a buck. What did we look at the article when we was showing that 70% of millennials are living paycheck to paycheck and 60% of millennials who make 6 figures, $100,000 or more, they're living to paycheck also? Is that an income problem or is that a budgeting problem? We got to get these principles down, my people. So we got to effectively set a little bit of money aside every month. And you know why this is the perfect day to talk about this? Because I told y'all on the last show that this should be the day that so many of us are budgeting for the month to come. This is the last day in the month of August. How many of us have our budget ready for September? How many of us know exactly where our money is going for the rest of the month down to the cent? The reason why it's so easy to live paycheck to paycheck is because the only number that you're looking at is the number that's in your bank account. So if the bank account says 100, that means you can spend 100. If the bank account says 1,000, you find a way to spend the money. We got to get more focused on this, y'all. And the reason why I stress this is because when you don't have that 3 to 6 months worth of emergency savings, every unexpected expense turns into debt. If you have no savings and you get a flat tire, you take out debt on your credit card to pay for it. If you end up going through an emergency and you have no emergency fund, you're looking to borrow money from other people to get you out of the jam. And there's 100% chance that in our lives, we're going to go through emergencies. How many of us have gone through hard times in the past 12 months? A lot of us don't really understand the hard times that is coming, man. That's the reason why I'm so passionate about giving us this game right now. Because I know that in a lot of y'all's mind, this is optional. You're going to realize that within the next 5 years, a lot of this information that I'm giving to y'all right now for free is going to be do or die. Jobs are going to be cut. There's going to be industries that are fully automated and disruptive, and you're going to have to learn new trades. You're going to have to evolve your skill set over time to stay current in the marketplace. This is the reason why we got to understand how these things truly work. If we don't understand where society is going and we don't understand how to follow the trends, we're going to get left behind as a people. And guess what? Every time a recession comes to America, who gets hit the hardest? Our people. Remember the last time there was a great recession from 2008 when the housing crash popped off? Who was the main ones years later still struggling from that recession? It was us. It's because we do not understand the principles of building wealth, but now is the time to know it. It's not rocket science, my people. We spend over $1.6 trillion a year. So we have the money, but it's not staying with us long enough to turn into something positive. We got to now look at the resources that we have and say, hey, how do I cut my liabilities and start growing my assets? This is the reason why a free tool that I recommend for everybody to use is mint.com. It will tell you right there, and it's free budgeting software. This is how much you have in assets. This is how much you have in liabilities. It's free. Bro, it's free. You don't have to pay nobody nothing. It's free, but we don't tap into it. There's a few of us that are doing it, but I want more of us to get in on the action. Yasha Allah, you got anything else for us, sir? And let me say something else, and I want you to chime in on this. All of this free game, get on camera, man. Ask me questions about wealth building. I want to see you on camera. Y'all see this brother on almost every night. I'm muting you real quick, Yasha Allah, so that way there's no echo whenever I bring forth my audio on your end. But whenever we do these shows, do y'all know how important it is to see other Black faces on the screen? So that way you could see somebody with a common experience who knows what it's like that's gotten to the other side. You see, Paywell Daily said, learn the crypto markets to generate multiple streams of income, staking cryptocurrencies. I mean, yes, this is a growing industry. Y'all see how the value of the US dollar is dropping. I've been telling y'all I'm a Cardano boy. I've been telling y'all that. I've been giving out 2 free stocks every show through Webull, so that way you can start to get in the investing game. This show not only promotes your business for free, it also gives you 2 free stocks just by watching. I give y'all the link so that way y'all can sign up. The game is right here, but you just got to take advantage of it. So I'm looking for y'all. Get on camera, man. Brothers, sisters, get on camera. Make your voice heard. If you have any questions about building wealth, then leave your questions below. For those of y'all that like this show and you like the dialogue, then please support the show by giving a super chat. Okay, y'all don't realize this, but when you bring the super chat forward, it tells YouTube, yo, this is a show that people want to watch. Because when YouTube sees that people are liking it, when people are super chatting, they're like, yo, let's put this in front of more people. Let's get this message out. All YouTube cares about is, are you staying on a platform watching something that you want to watch? So when we complain about there's not enough positive Black media, we got to take ownership for that. We got to invest in positive Black media, because if we don't, then nobody else will. And I keep telling y'all, this is the only media platform where you see positive Black male media focused around financial, spiritual, and communal empowerment. You're not going to find this package this way nowhere else. So if you want to see it alive, then make sure that you support the cause. What do you have to say on that, my brother Yasha Allah? What do you have to say about getting our people, stop being so shy and get on the camera, camming up, giving the super chats, and just getting in on the game?
What I say is that, I had the confidence. I played football. I went to the military. I had to learn all that. And I tell people, a lot of people still shy. I understand that. Don't get me wrong. And when you talk in front of people, yes, you can be shy and terrified. Don't get me wrong. But being in the military, you're forced to do a lot of things, whether you like it or not. You know what I mean? And so what I would do is, or suggest is, get in a mirror. Back then we had those tape record. The little record thing. You had to press a button to record yourself. Yeah. I would get in the mirror and say, I'm Sergeant so-and-so. I'm here to give you 45 minutes of instructions. Like that. That builds you up. And then when you listen back to it, you can know, I won't use this word. I use this word. I won't use this phrase. I'll use this phrase. How's my posture? How's my presentation? It's the same thing. Even in college today, like I said, when I was young, there was no such thing as computers. I'm sorry. It was not. When I bought my first computer, I bought it for the girls. You know what I mean? My daughter was young. Yeah. I set it up. Yeah. And I'm trying to turn it on. They're like 8, 9 years old. I'm like, you turn on, Daddy. I can get it. I can read. I sat there for a whole hour and a half. And one of my daughters came and pressed the button.
You know, one thing we're gonna do right now, Yashala, we're gonna get Chevis Watson on this stream right along with you, because I want the people to see black men getting on camera talking about how our community can build wealth. Peace, black man. Good to see you on as always, my brother. You looking fresh.
What's up, my brother?
Shalom, brother. Shalom, on sign Christ bless. Appreciate y'all having this conversation, man.
Peace, black man.
Yes, sir. What you got on the topic?
You know, we've talked a little bit about it over the past week or two, and what's really apparent is that we in our community don't even really consider how we could create wealth. Since the last week, I've been in 3rd Ward, Houston. I've been in East Austin. And I've even tried to ask a brother, look, man, look like you got some ideas.
Yeah.
I got $100. How can we match? Brother look at me like I'm weird as hell. You know, we ran the back to school initiative this past weekend. You know, I'm trying to talk about building wealth with participating mothers, and the poverty is so deep. It's like I'm talking to a ghost. It's like I'm talking to a brick wall, and I can understand that being impoverished. But you know, when I was in prison, impoverished myself, creativity was key.
Let me ask you this real quick, black man. When you kick the subject of wealth to our people, right? Do you ever get the sense that they can't resonate with it because they've kind of felt defeated based around their current situation? Like, do you feel like, maybe if they've lived their entire life a certain way for so long, it's hard for them to ever see themselves in the position of an owner or somebody who's had real wealth?
Yeah, absolutely. We talking about our community who's chronologically disparaged. When people start talking wealth, in East Austin, right? I got an older brothers luncheon, right? Whenever we start trying to talk about wealth, they going all the way back to the Reconstruction era. They go all the way back to the Reconstruction. They skip over Greenwood and Tulsa, and they go straight to the Reconstruction area. And I'd be like, damn, okay, I'm the youngest brother in here.
Yeah.
Are they not thinking we could create wealth right in here? Like right in here? Like, let's just pass around ideas, share proprietary information. Ain't nobody here to steal from you. But then, it's always an ode to the ancestors. Yeah, I mean, when you haven't grown up with wealth building, when you haven't grown up with creative group economics as a fact in conversation, if you grew up and the stakeholders in your house treated small business owners as if they were almost non-existent, you could treat them anyway, then yeah, there's no way that you could really talk about the cultivation of wealth.
Yeah.
I always give credence into the small business owner being from New Orleans. You know what I mean? Seeing black men, black women really sacrifice to have t-shirt shops and snow cone stands. But patience, right? My cousin was almost on Tulane and Broad in New Orleans with a t-shirt shop. It took her 10 years. And after 10 years, she was able to completely relocate out of New Orleans, missed Katrina, and lives pretty good now because she didn't have to take those losses. Because I can remember in 1998, her telling me and my cousin, man, y'all got to save y'all money. There's these things called stocks. Like back in 1998, 99, like stocks in what? You know what I mean? She was like, there's these stocks. She was like, but baby, when you pass other black people that have a product, have a service, consider spending with them.
Right.
And I don't know. I never forgot that, man. And you've heard me say it on this show before, man. Since coming back from prison last year, I've spent roughly 75% of my income with our people, with Judah, with Issachar. I don't want to find solutions elsewhere. Sometimes I'll get weak and get some McDonald's, but my lady would would agree that I'll go hungry all day just to eat with a Black-owned business.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So
That's beautiful, brother. If I could chime in on this part real quick, because I want to pick your brain about some things, and I want everybody to see the generations that's on and the perspectives that we share as Black men. If there are other of you brothers that are out there that want to get in on this and cam up, I want you on the panel. We're about to turn this into a panel discussion. All right, we're getting lit. So when we talk about building wealth, right, there was this comment that Tiana put up, and she said, we need to get back to Black Wall Street, Oklahoma. Now, I got some thoughts on this, and I'm going to throw it at y'all real quick to get y'all's thoughts as well. We have all the opportunities in the world to get back to Black Wall Street, Oklahoma when we talk about building wealth. But what is missing is the mindset. In Black Wall Street, Oklahoma, there was a sense of togetherness. They understood the importance of recycling dollars back into the Black community. But now, in my opinion, there's a vibe that, you know, it's every man for themselves. There's no spirit of, hey, you know what? Black people only own and control 2% of all of the businesses in America today. How can we increase that number? How can we start, you know, taking a portion of our finances and just start investing in our own communities, because their wealth is our wealth? I'm telling you, man, for a lot of our people, we got a mentality like, if I give another dollar to a Black man, that's a dollar lost rather than a dollar invested. We don't think of the mindset if I give this dollar to this Black man and he's able to multiply off of it, then I am multiplying wealth in my own communities. I'm creating jobs. Like, bro, even when it comes to the show, Shevis, and I know you could talk about this, people don't look at this from the mindset that, yo, if I put up a super chat right now, I'm actually giving another Black person a chance to get a job.
Right.
I'm giving another Black person the opportunity to be able to take this experience and create better education programs, because Lord knows we're not getting the best of education in the public school system. Like, we don't think along those lines. The only way that we think is, well, if I give somebody else some money, that's their come up and my loss. That's their win and my L. What do you think stops us from getting to the Black Wall Street Look at the brother that put up. Shevis, do you see the brother that just gave a $5 super chat? The brother Gilbert J. Moses Jr.
I'm glad he jumped on. I shared the link with him. I'm glad.
Who don't want to get his Black behind on camera worth a damn. He put up a $5 super chat. So if you can't get on the camera with your Baylor brothers, at least you could give a $5 super chat. Thanks, G. Thanks, G. We appreciate you, brother.
But still, G is hearing it, and G is taking a step to create wealth. I'm so proud of the brother.
Absolutely. Nothing but support and love to that brother, man.
Yeah,
that brother
man. Congrats to him and his wife, man.
Yeah, that's my man's. I try to plug the brother, but the brother, he's so low profile. I ain't gonna put him out there like that.
Yeah. Always was, man.
Yeah, always, man. The brother Gilbert Moses, man. I told you we was gonna do a show about you one of these days, G. This brother Gilbert, man, he has a beautiful Black family, raising his family and many of the principles of wealth creation that we just talked about. I know he don't want me to say this, but I'm gonna put him out there. The brother just paid off his student loans, so let's give the brother a hand. Congratulations. That's definitely one big step towards building wealth in itself. Okay, Tiana was just talking about how so many people go into debt with these PPP loans. SBA loans took the money and went shopping instead of investing. I really want you brothers to talk your talk on why is it that we are not in the Black Wall Street era in 2021? Why is it, Shevis and Yasha Allah, that we are in the most technological point in history with all these different ways to make money, but we still only own 2% of all businesses? We still only own 1% of all of the wealth in America. What are your thoughts on that? Shevis, if you want the first pass at it, or we could give it to Yasha Allah as just a senior brother, we could show him that respect. Yasha Allah, take it off right now, brother. What would you say is one of the big reasons why we as a people don't come together more as a culture to bring forth wealth creation?
Well, I see it through my age is that we still have those fears that I'm gonna rob you. Dude, I want nothing from you. We have those fears. Like the sister said, we get certain things and we spend all the money, because I do understand a little bit, because when we was younger, we was dirt poor. So we want the nice cars. We want the nice clothes. We want to be fly, go to the club. Because I've done it too. Don't get me wrong. I've done it too. You know what I'm saying? But you get, like, nah, man, I can't do that, bro. I'm sorry. I can't roll like that. You know what I mean? I throw away a lot of money. And we don't see, like I see, as a lot of people think we're going to get older. We just don't. We don't think like that at all. We think, I was the same way. I thought I was in the military. Hey, I died 35, 40, I'm good for the military. That's what I thought. But when you get 35, you're like, oh, thank God he didn't take me out. You know what I'm saying? So we look at it as, I'll spend it now, I'll worry later.
There you
go.
Worry later.
When later comes, you're going to suffer. You ain't playing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, there's so much talk. Man, Rodney, I wish I could get you on this camera, my brother. I know you're getting your workout on. But it's beautiful, man, seeing all these brothers on, seeing us chiming in, talking our talk, man. I wouldn't want to be nowhere else right now. So if y'all just coming on, make sure that you smash that like button. Make sure that you share it with a friend. Make sure that you put up the super chats, y'all. Let's keep this positive black male media going, man, because if we don't, nobody else will. I know you're getting your pedal on, brother, and we celebrate you, man, because there needs to be more of us that's doing the exact same thing. You're doing exactly what you need to be doing, black man. Keep it going. Now, okay, you were just saying something, Yashala. You throw in so many things. This is what makes it so hard for me to even really be able to do this with you, because you throw out so many great points. And with you as a man of experience, as a respectable elder in our community, I never want to interrupt right in the moment, but right in the moment you be saying something, I'm like, man, I wish I could just hop on that point right there. I want you to recap something that you just said, because it brought to mind something that was very important. When we talk about this Black Wall Street mindset, why we're not there despite all of our technological advances, you talk about the subject of fear. Tell me a little bit more about that again, because there's a very important point that I want to talk about, and then we're going to pass it over to Shevis.
The fear is that failure. Nobody never praised our brothers and sisters. You're going to do great. We never did that. I can paint good. I can do a lot of things good because my grandfather, not my father, my grandfather. I still love my father. My grandfather would have us go out there and paint a fence. It was 5, 6 years old. You know what I mean? 5-year-olds can't paint no fence. But my grandpa would say, great job. So when we go to sleep at night, my grandpa would go back out there and repaint it. So all those years, my brother thought we was doing it. So a lot of us don't get the confidence. It's constantly beat down, beat down, beat down. So that fear stays a long time. If I try, I hear it again. I don't want to go through that. So you avoid that. You see what I'm saying? That part right there, we avoid it. I'm not going to do Wall Street. I'm not going to try to do it myself because I don't want to get beat down by my family or my friends. Right. You know what I mean? So that fear is deep. That fear, I've been in the military, the fear is deep. It can, listen, if you don't get rid of certain fears, it will beat you to death.
I got to hop in on this one because you reminded me of it. I got to hold it here. Okay, in 1954, I don't know how many of y'all noticed, one of the things that you talked about was how, since we don't come from nothing, that actually becomes a motivating factor for us to spend so much money. In 1954, there was this movie. It was like a documentary style program called The Art of Selling to the Negro. Y'all got to check. It's on YouTube. Check it out. in this program, like the literal hustle was remind Black people of how poor they are, because it will make them covet after nice things that much more. They literally break down in that documentary that a lot of the business owners advertise. It's kind of like the Willie Lynch letter. For any of y'all that have ever read that book, if you haven't, I definitely encourage it. This was the business owner's Willie Lynch instruction manual. So in The Art of Selling to the Negro, they kept saying, whenever you're selling a product, keep talking about how what status is going to put you on. Keep stressing the level that the consumer is going to be on as a result of the purchase, because our people are so insecure in coming from the bottom. There's no amount of money that they will refuse to pay to feel like they're a part of a higher society. Y'all gotta see that, man. Y'all gotta see that. One of the biggest challenges towards us building wealth right now is, there's this weird way that we tie in money to self-esteem, and that become another big problem, because a lot of you brothers, you only tie in your sense of self-worth to your net worth, and that's a problem. One of the big reasons why the bag ain't come for you yet is because you haven't seen yourself as worth enough before the money shows up. And because you don't hold on to your sense of worth before the money gets there, it never comes. When you look at a lot of wealthy people, they were very confident and very passionate about their potential long before the money ever showed up. But I just wanted to throw that out there. You brought an excellent point up about how we really got to have a sense of consciousness about our insecurities, because our insecurities and how we tie money into self-esteem influences how quick we are to spend money in the first place. And because we're so quick to spend money chasing insecurity, that becomes a big reason why we do not accumulate wealth. Shevis, you're on. Thank you so much, my brother Yashala, for all of those gems.
Brothers, I would have to agree. The fear narrative is deeply rooted in the children of slaves. But that's also kind of by design, right?
Absolutely.
And it does include that intersection of education. We do not have any real community educators. We were completely unprepared when the pandemic came, still having to rely on Esau or whoever to teach our kids, because we can't create solutions. But it's also really core basic, right? We succumb and surrender to the American public school education. So from a child, that fear narrative is embedded within us with mathematics. We completely embrace the problem, the problem disguise that math is. We carry that until we get a lot older, and then we just say things like we don't like math because we're scared of it, because all we think of it is a problem. But in the Asian community, they teach their kids from youth to read math like a sentence. So when they get to be 20, 21, it's like math ain't no problem.
Yeah,
that's a part of that fear agenda. People don't even want to touch math. So how could they really even create anything outside of transactional gain? How could they really cultivate transformative wealth? And I've kind of examined that in myself. Like, you get a paycheck, what do you do with it?
right.
I used to, back in the day, I used to be so quick to want to fulfill it with somewhere else.
Right.
It's itching to get out of my hands. Now, I spend a lot of money on transportation and driving, but the variable costs are so critical to me that I'm always thinking about, well, how can I invest back into myself? How can I invest back into myself? Brother, I can only do that if I have people around that hold those kind of conversations, or like the brother was saying, affirm my efforts to do so, or affirm my my ideas to even want to talk about it.
Right.
like the brother was saying, if every time I bring up wealth, or if every time Lauren brings up wealth, I'm just shutting it down, which, you know, I have done a little bit. She wants to talk about stocks. I'm like, baby, I really ain't interested. But the truth is, I should be.
Right.
I should be.
And
She was just telling me the other day, jump on Coinbase and get this.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I'm asking more questions, because even subconsciously we apply that fear narrative.
Yes.
And unfortunately, us being a product of this slave culture, man, like we don't do the spiritual work needed to ascend ourselves. But then we think, due to the field, we like the brother said, we think in such competitive terms, right?
Yes.
Like we're so attuned to the NFL, so excited that college football is about to start. You know, ready for all these leagues that don't do nothing in our local communities. That right there strikes us with that competitive nature. Now brothers don't want to spin with you, but they want to go with you to the poker hall, just so they can compete with you. And it's sad, man, because, you know, there was a day where we knew that, you know, it was FUBU all day. We knew that it took us. We knew that we knew who our oppressors were. We really don't know who our oppressors are these days. We'll think the brother next door is our oppressor because he doesn't speak to us.
Right.
That brother's just another soldier in this fight that we gotta empower. He's not an enemy. And so again, it's that spiritual work to get rid of that fear. You scared of what's uncomfortable, and you say that you got to kill what's comfortable and ascend to the next level. So
let me speak on this real quick, Black man. Thank you so much for pointing that out, man. I'm loving this dialogue. Y'all about to keep me on here all night. There's two things that I really take away from what you said right there, Chevis. And one thing is, when you look at every other community of people, I'm talking about the people that are really out here getting it. I was showing y'all in last week's episode about how Indians are actually the highest earning median income households in America. And when you look at their mentality, they are focused on being competitive as a people rather than on an individual scale. One of the problems that we have as Black men is that we are so self-absorbed that we don't think, okay, well, you know what? Maybe if I'm winning on some level, but my brother's not winning, that means I'm not winning. We have a mindset that, nah, I don't care if nobody else is winning. In my mind, I'm winning, but that's not how society operates. You know, when you look at, again, these different cultures, when you study the list of all of the different cultures that are high income earners, you will always tend to notice that they are competitive as a people rather than an individual. It just cannot be one man on a come up while leaving all their people behind. You know, when they focus on taking their kids to school and even competing in the Olympics, they're trying to put their entire nation on. And that's something that we got to get more into the spirit of as a people. And that's one of the things that I want to come from this show. I'm praying that we, you know, can serve as leaders and as examples and educators that, Black man, this life is just bigger than you, man. It don't matter if you're making 6 figures or 7 figures. If all of your people are in poverty, man, when is it going to be about the culture? So that's one part. But the second thing that I really want to talk about is, man, you know, you talked about a fear, right? You and Yasha Allah, you both talked about the concept of fear. And that is honestly one of the most debilitating things to creating wealth. I mean, even Napoleon Hill talks about this in his books, Think and Grow Rich, The Law of Success. He always talks about how people and their fear of failure, their fear of death, their fear of public speaking, it stops them from being able to create a level of impact and influence that will allow them to be able to reach new levels. But I did want to be able to point out that even for those of us that do, quote unquote, make it in the eyes of society, a lot of our people who are educated and have certain money tend to struggle with what is known as survivor bias. Survivorship bias means, okay, I came from the street and I'm getting on. Like, I'm starting to get money, but because everybody else that came up with me ain't getting no money, I'm just going to let all the money go because now I feel bad. And, even a lot of times we even see this, not only on the street, but we see it in the religious communities that, if you have $1, you're the devil. You know what I mean? If you're trying to educate people about the concepts of building wealth, you're all the way out in the world. It's like we've developed such a strong innate crab in the barrel mentality over time that it's 2021 and we truly don't understand how much we get in our own way. Like, there's so many different opportunities to be able to, just create opportunities, create wealth, create impact. The playing field is open, but because we got so much drama and other ish to get past, we still don't tap into it. Hence the reason why we have not yet evolved to that Black Wall Street level. So since we're still talking about Black Wall Street, y'all got me on here a little bit later tonight. I noticed that y'all must be enjoying the conversation, which must mean that you're sharing this video. It must mean that you're liking this video, and it must mean that you're putting up the super chats, because we ain't seen no super chats in a minute. If you're just getting on and you like this conversation and you want to keep this show going, then make sure that you smash the dollar icon directly below the live chat. That's what starts up the super chat. Any donation that you can give goes a really long way towards keeping the show going. Since we were talking about Black Wall Street, black men, I want to bring on the sister who mentioned it. I'm going to bring Tiana on so that way we could have the conversation. So let me add her in. Thank you for joining. It's good to see you, sister. Looking great, looking beautiful as always. What do you have on the topic of building wealth?
Well, first, I feel like it starts in the home. I feel like, as far as like, if we're talking about Black people, I feel like a lot of us, we were raised with, like, Section 8. Our mothers were like government assistance, a lot of that stuff. And I just feel like, instead of taking the government assistance and the Section 8 and kind of using it as a stepping stone, a lot of our people just kind of sit on it, and they take advantage of it. And instead of saying, okay, my rent is only, $600, even though I'm bringing in $2,000 a month, I'm going to take this rent, pay it, and put some money up and kind of use it to just build and save. They just, oh, well, my rent's $500, so that means I got an extra, $700, $800 just to go spend and go shopping, which is just contributing to the curses. That's just not how you build wealth. And then another thing is, it's too much competition in the Black community. I had a young lady named So Snap. She sells waist trainers, and she's doing really, really good. However, she started her business from a $200 government check. She was actually on government assistance. She ended up in a hotel, kind of homeless. She was a nurse, though. She was working on the side. But the thing is, she didn't have the support from her own people, like her mother, the people that she entrusted to kind of help with her kids. She was forced to be entrepreneur. So instead of saying, well, this is it, she took her $200 government assistant check and found a product that worked for her and invested $200 into her business. And now she's doing great. She's actually made $50,000. She's been in business for about 3 years, and she did something that a lot of our people don't do. They take the benefits that they're currently getting, whether it's Section 8 or government assistance, and she used it to invest in instead of just using it to kind of spend up and not do anything about it. Black Wall Street was big. My husband's from Oklahoma, so he can kind of he tells me a lot about, the Black Wall Street, even though he wasn't around in those days. He's 40. So he knows a little bit about, the family talking about it. And as far as Black Wall Street goes, it was just a lot of Black people using their talents. That's what it was. You know, you had one brother that probably sold shoes. You had another sister that, you know, probably sold garments. And it was more love and support back in those days. We just have to start within ourselves. We're not going to get anywhere unless we can kind of start within ourselves. Me personally, I'm starting within my house. So, like I had mentioned, I put a couple things on the chat. Just maybe 2.5 months ago, my score was a 439, and I don't know why I was just literally sitting here from last year thinking to myself, man, you know, when all this free money is gone, what am I going to do? Because my husband only makes this much money. He brings in this much money. I'm pregnant. I can't work right now. So what am I going to do, you know, to kind of help out the household? Now, mind you, I'm a business owner. So of course I was getting, and I'm still getting for another couple 2 weeks now, the extra unemployment benefits. So
Right.
I decided to take all the money that I was getting, which was literally over 3,000 a month, just off of the extra benefits that they were giving, not even including the separate amount that I was getting. So I took that and I stacked most of it. I got my credit report. I pulled it. I didn't have anything on there but one thing. I just like to pay it off instead of dispute it because I just wanted it gone and over with.
Right.
Yeah, and I pretty much got 2 credit cards I was approved for, paid them, been paying them since. And the good thing is I have thousands to kind of sit on, and I invested 5,000 into my business. And my goal is to eventually add my children on as authorized users once my score gets to a certain point. So I just feel like overall, Black people, we just have to kind of use what we're getting for free, take advantage of it, but don't misuse it.
Absolutely. I love all of your feedback.
My overall.
I want y'all to really give a big shout out to Sis Tiana that's on. Y'all, this is major to be on here on a platform full of strong Black men and to talk her talk. This is very important. And let's give a big shout out to the brother Brian Livings. Some of our people's mindset is they're okay with you seeing them eat steak, but they don't want to see you with a bologna sandwich. Those are facts. And, you know, I think that's the reason why us having platforms like this is so important. So we can start to rebuild the culture ourselves. And then once we continue to grow and evolve, hopefully the rest of our community will follow that example. Now, I want to say a couple things, you know, kind of falling in line with the things that Tiana said. Um, it's amazing how there was so much government assistance that's come over the past year, and we have to take responsibility for what we do with it. You know what I mean? There's opportunity. Again, there's opportunity. Thousands upon thousands of dollars given out in stimulus money. Are we setting some money aside on investments? Are we setting aside some money on stocks? You know, there's actually research that shows that there's never been another time in history where as many people has invested as today. Y'all, it's getting late, but while everybody is still on, Tiana, can you promote your business? Because I want your brothers and sisters that are online to support you. Tell us about your business, what it's about, and how we could tap into it.
Okay. Let me turn on the light, you guys. I'm gonna disappear. Y'all know I'm really dark. So, well, my business is Herbs and Beauties LLC. We sell all natural skincare products. We don't sell anything for the face at all. We only sell things like, you know, body scrubs, moisturizers, lip creams, all that good stuff. We had took a 6-month break because I had got pregnant. This is a one-woman show, and I could not do it all. But we're relaunching. We're relaunching in November, and we're gonna have some men products on as well. I do have a couple of products I can show you guys that I'm just currently already have stocked. I've been working a lot.
Sure.
Um,
I'm gonna put your screen on bigger so that way everybody can see it. Brothers, thank y'all so much for
oh
hopping
gosh,
on,
I
man.
have a huge. My living room is. I took over my whole house. My husband let me, y'all. So this is where I keep all of my is it turned the right way, you guys?
Yeah, we can see it.
I have a lot of stuff, you guys. I've been working so hard, but these are a few of my products here. This is a 16 ounce. This is a scrub. It took me a year and a half to perfect this ingredient. Like literally, I could not sell this until I perfected it. It's quality over quantity. So couple scrubs. Right now I have a lot of the scrubs made, you know.
Do you have a website that I could put in the chat? People are asking me if there's a website they could go to.
Yeah, I do. I do have a website, but it's gonna redirect you to a coming soon page because I have a lock on it right now. Okay. But it's www.herbs, that's HER, and I could put it in the chat too. HERBS and AND beauty BEAUTY 7.com, herbsandbeauty7.com.
The number
it's 7? Kind of dark. Yeah, the number 7. Yep. Okay. And it's kind of dark because I have 3 children. They're sleeping right now, so I didn't want to turn on all the lights in the house. But it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, you guys. But it's literally my passion. And that's another thing I was going to say, Uzziah, was when it comes to business, like you had mentioned earlier, a lot of people, they kind of just go with like what's popular at the moment, and they invest in things that aren't beneficial. For me, this was my passion. I would be up late at like 12 o'clock at night, and my husband would come home and the kitchen would be tore up. He's like, "What are you doing?" And I would be so excited, like, "Look what I made."
Yeah.
Look, I made it. He would be like, "Oh my gosh, it's great, but what about the kitchen?" I'm like, "Don't worry about the kitchen. We're gonna get the kitchen. The kitchen gonna be clean." Right. And it was just like when you have a passion, you're kind of like obsessed. Like I was so obsessed. Like I'm like, okay. But it was trial and error. I literally messed up my first time around with not properly doing ingredients. So I'm glad I took that 6 months off because it allowed me to perfect my craft. Now I'm going even more crazier. Y'all should see my inventory. It's crazy.
Absolutely. Let me plug you real quick while the people are still on. Y'all, for those of y'all that are rocking with us, for those of y'all that want to support and invest in Black-owned businesses, please support our sister Tiana at herbsandbeauty7.com. The link is on the screen. And as I always tell y'all on every show, this is a free platform where you can promote your business on here for free because we want to recycle dollars in our community. All right. Thank you so much, sister, for joining. Thank you so much to all the brothers that were joining. This has been an incredible night, y'all. It's been an incredible night. Man, do y'all love this show? Do y'all appreciate what we're doing over here on this show? Make sure that y'all smash the like button, y'all. Make sure that y'all tell people about this show. Make sure that you get the word out there so that way we can even have more brothers and more sisters hopping on cam to talk about our experience and how we can do better. I'm going to close this thing out, y'all. Y'all been rocking with me for so long. If y'all want to get those 2 free stocks that I always tell y'all can get, I'm going to put it in the comments below. Shout out to Weeble. You know, this is an easy opportunity for you to get in the investing game. A lot of y'all was talking about crypto earlier. You want to talk about stocks, the key to building wealth. Well, things are so good right now. It ain't the kingdom. Don't get it twisted. But we have opportunities now online to be able to tap in as investors. All right. So make sure that you click the link. Get your 2 free stocks. And for those of y'all that really, really, really love tonight's show, you need to check out my free masterclass on the 3 keys to financial freedom. I put together a free masterclass on the 3 keys to financial freedom. So for those of y'all that are out there, you want to really take that step towards building wealth, make sure that you click the link. I put it in the description below. I put it in the comments section, the 3 keys to financial freedom. Make sure y'all check that out. Sign up. It's all for free. Just carve out some time on another day to be able to check that out. All right. So now, or if y'all are staying up later tonight, some of y'all is night owls, I know you could check it out tonight. It's there for you. Now, tomorrow, this is going to be big, y'all. Tomorrow. If you like this show today, you need to be on the show tomorrow, because tomorrow we're going to talk about how to make money using your gifts. We talked about how to build wealth today, and today was very general. But now that you understand that one of the factors to wealth creation is taking your gifts and tapping into it, I'm going to show you how to do that in tomorrow's show step by step. So if you have a talent and you haven't monetized on it, tune into tomorrow's show, because I'm going to show you how to make money using your gifts the same way that God has blessed me to be able to do this for mine. I thank y'all. I love y'all. Thank y'all for tapping in with me. And if you have a business that you want to see promoted on this show for free, then please send me an email at uzziah@blackmenscareer.com. And make sure that you send me your website and all of the details, so that way I can give your business its proper promotions. All right. Y'all saw we just did some great promotion of Tiana's business. She's got herbsandbeauty7.com. I want your business to be next. I'm serious about us investing in our people. Let's invest in each other. Let's put each other on so we can really get to the next level, y'all. If you have any future show ideas, make sure that you send me an email at uzziah@blackmenscareer.com, and I will take your ideas and turn it into a topic. Listen, y'all, this show is for us. This is so much bigger than me. God has just made me a voice and a vessel to be able to help and assist other people. I sincerely pray that you learned a lot about how to build wealth, and please let me know your results over time. Make sure that you tune into tomorrow's show. If you have questions, make sure you're on live. If your friends have questions about how to make money using their gifts, make sure that they're on live. And if you know somebody with a business who has any questions or needs promotion, then make sure that they're on the show live. I'm really excited in advance. Y'all know these shows are always popping. And remember, stay focused, stay dedicated. Let's continue to pray for each other. Let's continue to pray for all of our people that are throughout the world, man, that are going through it, that can get benefit from these videos. Continue to share this. Let's pray for our people in Louisiana. And most importantly, y'all, let's keep pushing. Have a good night.